Now, why are there so many things you have to say no to? Like delicious treats, sugary, you want them and then you have to say, no, that's not good for me. And why are there so many things you have to say yes to that you don't feel like working out or like planning your day or like, all these things that we know we should do, but we don't do them, like living like healthy, working out, whatever it is that you think you should do in order to have the best life possible, right? Why is it rigged like that? Why is life like that? Why isn't it just easy? Just look at any animal. Look at a cow. How hard is that? How problematic is that life? And then look at human beings. What's going on with that complexity we live in? Well, it's important to know why, because if you don't know why this is set up in that way, you'll be confused basically. But by knowing exactly what is going on, you can start making some choices, and without having to resist reality or resist the fact that life is like that. So let's begin to accept it, because then you have some power. So why is it like that? Well, just think about the fact that for the majority of human existence, if you go back 200,000 years, you would have found humans with the same genetic build as you have today. Same genetic code. Exact human beings. And we've been living, hunting and gathering berries and roots all day for almost 200,000 years. So that's what you're made for. And you didn't get, to be more than 40 before you died, but that's another story, right? So you're basically living in cages, wearing fur if you were in an area that was a little bit cold, hunting animals and gathering roots and berries and, making a living like that. It's a hard life, right? But that's how we've been living. And then some time ago, not very long ago, there was this dude who said, why do we go hunt animals if we can just keep them here with us, right? And then they can breed here. We don't have to go anywhere. They can just stay here and then we can just eat them whenever we want to. That's pretty smart. And why do we go collect stuff in nature, for roots and berries and nuts and fruits? And why do we go find those in the forest and then move to another location and then go find stuff there? Why don't we just grow it here? I realized that you can take the seeds out of the apples, put them in the ground, and then you can grow an apple tree. And you can just sit on the apple tree and eat the apples instead of moving around all the time. And that's where farming became a reality. But this is human existence. This is when farming was invented, right? It's just very recently. And then, just a couple of 100 years ago, very recent, there was this guy in England who invented the steam engine. Now you could take an engine that could do the work of 100 guys. Now suddenly the whole idea of inventing something or getting an idea that could then produce the produce of 100 people, but you could just put coal into the thing, right? You could actually turn something very little into a lot. You could take one resource and convert it into another resource. And that's where the industrialized society started. But that's very recent, and now we're here. The internet, it's just amazing what happened since then, right? The invention of the car, the invention of the oil, and then light bulbs and electricity, and then it's like an explosion, really, right? But just think about it. When a newborn child starts off in life, the body thinks, the mind thinks, the brain thinks it's made for all of this time and not this time. This is so alien. The world is so alien to that little child. It's incredible. Now the child has to go to school for 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 16, 20 years before he can actually, go into the society and do the work you have to do there. It used to be very differently. You were just born into doing whatever it is that you didn't have to go to school, you didn't have to read, you didn't have to do all these things. And there are all these temptations. Because basically what we did in the last very small period of time here was being comfortable. Every single invention It's about being comfortable, about getting something easier, right? Instead of going hunting, we can keep the animals here. Instead of having to collect roots and berries, we can just farm them here. Instead of going from A to B by walking or running, we can go by horseback. Instead of going by horseback, we can go by car, bicycle, whatever, right? Train, right, in the beginning. So we can be comfortable. We don't have to do all the effort thing, right? Instead of having to go collect fruits and berries or eat fruits and berries, we now have something called white sugar, refined white sugar. We can put that into a substance. Now it's candy. So now we suddenly have something. This apple is full of nutrition and it reacts to the body with pleasure, or you react to it with pleasure. The body's built for that. The reason why an apple tastes good is not because it objectively tastes good. It's because the body likes it. That's why you think the body likes the taste of it. It's a signal that this is good for you. When something tastes good, it's good for you, right? But that whole mechanism in nature is just broken, because when something tastes sweet now, it's not good for you. So the body, the innocent body, is going to say, oh, I would like that. I love that cake. Give me that cake. Because it thinks there's nutrition in it, but there's zero nutrition in it. Instead of nutrition, there's white sugar, which is a refined substance that goes straight into your bloodstream because the body cannot process it. And it makes you go, woo, and then you go down, right? And it makes you overweight. Overweight was something good once. It's a mechanism in the body. If there's if there's a surplus of food around in the summertime, then you have a storing capacity. You can eat, then you just get fat. But then when winter comes and you don't have as much food, you have stored all this energy. You can live off of that. Genius mechanism, right? But now it's a problem because there's no winter coming. So when you get fat, you just get fat for good. It's like, or unless you lose it again, right? But it's like, you see how alien this is, and how every single time a new thing comes along, right? The car comes along. It means that I don't have to move very much anymore. But shouldn't you move very much anymore? A phone comes along. Now everybody can reach me whenever I am, the mobile phone, the cell phone, right? Everybody can reach me, and I can reach everybody at any time. But should I always be able to reach everybody? And should other people always be able to reach whatever I am? Just reach into my world and say, hey! It's like you're surrounded by invisible people, hundreds of them, that can just, at any time just grab your attention. You're talking to people, here comes the phone. So you have to deal with that. You have to make decisions about that. You have to make this, should I not move? Suddenly it's a decision. You used to live in nature where you just had to move. So there's no question about it. You didn't go, ugh, do I really feel like going for a run? And the brain is going to say, as you run, it's going to say, what's the point of this? What are we doing? Are we running somewhere? Are we going somewhere? Are we going hunting? And there's no point to it, at least not to the innocent body, right? So it's just everywhere. You have to deal with phones, with running or not running. You have temptations of sugar, something that the body thinks, or, it's good for, and it's not, and just the complex reality of making a living on whatever level you want to do that at, right? You have to make choices all the time, and you have to take responsibility with everything. It never stops, right? You have all these commodities, all these great things that can keep you comfortable. But comfort kills you in the end. If you don't apply all those things that nature used to demand of you, that you move, that you exert yourself, put you in the cold, put you in an environment that puts a strain on you. We know that, disease comes from being comfortable. If the body isn't challenged, if you don't go weightlifting, if you don't go run, if you never get exhausted, out of breath, or you're never exposed to the cold, or your body gets weak simply. And so you die, or you get sick, or you just live a life where your brain has to swim around in the hormones of just sluggishness, and you get depressed, right? So modern life, without taking charge of it, is not good for you, period. But you have to take charge. And that's why it seems so right? Like you have to do all these things that you don't want to do, and you have to say no to things that you want to do. It simply comes, and that's the price, my friend, for everything you have. For the fact that there's running water and you don't have to walk down to the lake to get it. For the fact that you can just buy meat in a supermarket and you don't have to kill the animal and catch it. All the way around. It's the price of all that comfort, of all that convenience and all the luxury, which it really is. And if you don't think it's luxury, just imagine sitting in a cave somewhere. You haven't taken a bath for like a month. So that's the price. And so what do we do about it? We just start paying the price, basically. We start appreciating what we're living in, and then we start paying the price. And if you go back to the previous video, but how do I pay how do I start? You just try, right? So go back and watch the previous video if you haven't watched it. But so once you understand the setup here, you can stop struggling. Oh, that's how it was for me. I could stop struggling with, why is this like that? Why do I have to? Why can't I just, right? Who's the evil God that made life so difficult, right? Those thoughts, isn't that productive, right? It's much more productive to look at, the history of what we've been doing here and man's innocent attempt to make life more comfortable and easy and pleasurable, right? But in that quest, actually making it toxic if you don't, for every new thing you get, take charge, because that's what's taken away from you. Now, you're not in nature and you have freedom, but there's a price of that freedom, and is that you take charge and decide what you want, and then you start trying. So subscribe to this channel if you want more of these videos, and don't forget to leave a comment if you have anything to say, anything you want to share with the other people who's watching this video, or anything you want to hear me, discuss or talk about. Just put it in there and subscribe, and then I look forward to seeing you in the next video.